What up, what up, what up? It's your boy, Cardinal Red, and we back for some more of that boxing, cooking, and conversation, man. So today, we're going to do a quick fish sandwich the way I like it, I guess you could call it sauteed or maybe the Cajun style. Or we're going to call it Kentucky style, bluegrass style, grilled codfish. So, if y'all enjoyed this, man, let me know. Leave me a like, hit that thumbs up for me. Leave me a comment, just let me know to keep making this style of content for you guys. So, I think my conversation today is going to be basically around Manny Pacquiao's next fight and what happened during the Deontay Wilder fight. Why did he lose, and some things he might need to change for the rest of his career. So if you enjoy this, man, stick around. Let me know. Hit that like button for me. And we'll be back.
Let's kick this recipe off right, y'all. Alright, so, I was strolling through Kroger's earlier today, and I ran across this piece of codfish and said, hey, why not make a sandwich for my after work 3 a.m. dinner? So right now I'm just using a little bit of Old Bay seasoning to coat the fish with. Normally if I'm frying it, I wouldn't even, bother using the Old Bay seasoning because there's enough seasoning inside of the fish coating that the Andes fish coating that I use. But I'm steaming / sauteing this fish, so we're basically just gonna, like I said, coat it with the Old Bay seasoning, and just put it in the refrigerator and let it marinate for a few minutes. Slicing me up some onions. I'm a fan of onions, so. Alright, y'all, let's get into some boxing talk. So, rumor has it that Eddie Hearn and DAZN Boxing wants to make a matchup between Manny Pacquiao and Mikey Garcia. Now, I've already touched on this in my previous video and what I think the chances of this fight actually happening are. And just to be honest, I don't think it's a selling fight. I don't think this fight makes much money. I think it would be a decent fight as far as the battle goes, but I just don't think the dollar signs are there. Now, I know they're saying that there are some investors in Saudi that want to invest in this fight, but I'm not even sure if their money's long enough to make this fight worth it for Pacquiao. Alright, we're back to our recipe. Now, I've coated my pan with a non-stick spray, which is basically coconut oil in a can, and the reason it looks foamy or thick like that is because I don't know if you've ever used coconut oil, but it's when they put it in a spray can, it doesn't solidify completely. Coconut oil, when you let it sit on the counter, it goes back into its original form, so it doesn't actually solidify. So when it comes out of the spray can, it looks like that until it warms up. So that's my little 2 cents on coconut butter spray. And you can get that at the Dollar Tree for $1. Now this is after I've let it break down. As you can see, it's gone into a solidification. It's solidified now. It's pretty much turned into just a regular oil. And it's perfect, leaves a slight coconut taste. And since we're using fish, you might like that. You might enjoy that slight coconut taste. I prefer it. Now, my footage got a little skewed when I was recording it. I don't know what happened, but, still got what I needed. So, basically just sauteing off the onions right now, trying to get those translucent and down to that sweetest form when they're, almost caramelized. Now, me personally, I don't break them all the way down because I'm going to throw them back in there. And then I still want a little spiciness of the onion and a little bite. So, I don't break it completely down. Now we're going to get ready to add our fish. You want to make sure your pan is nice and hot. And you have some grease in the bottom of your pan so your fish doesn't completely stick. Now, it's going to stick, so don't panic when it does stick. But if you're using a good oil, it shouldn't stick. Unfortunately, coconut oil doesn't have a real high burn, or the type I'm using, you can't heat it up really high before it starts to burn. So you got to be really careful if you're using coconut oil in this recipe. Who would have thought back in 2015, after Manny Pacquiao lost to Floyd Mayweather Jr., that in 2020 all eyes in boxing would still be on Manny Pacquiao and what's his next move or next fight? Who will it be? To me, there are only two names that should come to mind: Terrence Bud Crawford and Errol Spence Jr. Now, I know a lot of people are saying this is a dangerous fight for Pacquiao. And one of my subscribers said he should either fight Garcia or a rematch with Thurman, and then Spence and Crawford should fight. And I just don't feel like at this point in Pacquiao's career he needs to be doing any rematches. Once you've beat him, move on. You know, what's the point of a repeat? Unless you're fighting Floyd Mayweather and you win. And yes, I think Floyd Mayweather would deserve a third fight. Alright, so we got our fish pretty much sauteed on one side. So we're going to get ready to make this flip. Now, the problem with fish and trying to sear it or saute it or, pan fry it without a coating is it sticks really easily. So you either got to be really quick with the way you cook it, or you got to be really creative with the way you cook it. So what I'm going to end up doing here is using the steaming method I came up with. I don't know if this is a real method used by other chefs, but this is what I decided to do to keep my fish from sticking to the bottom of the pan and falling completely apart. So basically what I'm going to do is throw small amounts of water in the sizzling hot pan, and that's going to allow the fish to come loose from the bottom of the pan. Now, you don't want to do this too much because the fish will end up falling apart and you'll end up with a soup instead of a how can I call this, a saute. It's not really sauteed anymore because it's not crispy, but it's a sauteed steamed fish sandwich, if that's how you want to put it. So I'm just adding a little extra seasoning to it. Since we added the water, it might dilute your seasoning a little bit, so add a little extra seasoning once you flip it again. And it shouldn't take but 1 or 2 minutes. This is the reason why you want to be really quick or really creative, because if your pan's really hot, believe me, it's gonna stick. No matter what type of oil you use, butter, it's gonna stick. So unless you have a completely non-stick pan that nothing sticks to this pan, you're gonna have to use a good oil, or like I said, this steaming method to keep your fish from sticking to the bottom of the pan. So as you can see, once again, I'm adding a little bit more water to keep my fish, and it's gonna evaporate quickly, so it's gonna go back to the oil form. So don't worry, just hang in there. We're gonna get this done. It's almost unbelievable when you think about how many accolades and history-making moments Manny Pacquiao has had in his illustrious career. But when you think about it, he has the opportunity to make some of the biggest history, and that's saying a lot for Manny Pacquiao, but some of the biggest history of his boxing career. Now, in front of him are 2 fights: Errol Spence Jr. and Terrence Bud Crawford. Now, I know a lot of people say there's no chance he can beat either one of these guys. But let's play hypothetical for 1 second. If Manny Pacquiao achieves the impossible and is able to knock off Terrence Bud Crawford to unify titles, not only will he be the oldest fighter in history to unify top championship titles, but he would set up a fight with Errol Spence Jr. to unify all titles in the welterweight division. Just think about that. Number one, beating Terrence Bud Crawford would be completely history-making. Number two, if he's able to pull off a fight with Errol Spence Jr. and win, that would be even more history. I think an even greater history to hand both of those guys their first loss and be 42 by then years of age. Not only that, he will be the oldest man to unify all titles. I mean, what more can you say about Manny Pacquiao? Let me know what y'all think. Alright, so our fish is pretty much done. I'm just going to add these onions back in here to warm them back up before I put my fish sandwich together here. Now, if you don't like onions, please don't use onions. You know, you can always substitute with green peppers or whatever vegetable that you like. You know, add that in there. If I had peppers, I definitely would have used them, but unfortunately I ran out. You can add cheese to this. You can pretty much dress it how you like. Here I found some tender baby spinach at Kroger's. Now actually I don't know if this is baby spinach or if this is just spinach when it's just perfectly ripe. I think it's baby spinach though. But it adds a nice little peppery taste. You know, I like the taste of raw spinach. You know, it's and baby spinach is not really as bitter as you might think it is. So instead of using lettuce, I just use the baby spinach. So I'm gonna go ahead and just give us a little couple seconds to, like I said, for the onions to warm up a little bit. And go ahead and start putting my sandwich together. Now, like I said, once again, the steaming method is what keeps the fish from sticking to the bottom of the pan. So unless you have a perfectly non-stick pan, you're going to have to figure something out on how you get this fish out of this pan, man. It's real. Let's talk Deontay Wilder for a few seconds. Alright, so this man got mollywopped by Tyson Fury, okay, the Gypsy King. Now, if you ask me, Deontay Wilder won the first fight by knockout. I think it was a long count, but nobody cares at this point. You just got mollywopped. How do you come back from this and save your career and get your belt back? Me personally, I would be trying to get with Lennox Lewis and try to learn his jab technique. And on top of that, he needs a footwork coach. Somebody needs to teach him how to get in, get out, use your jab, move, because Tyson Fury is really big and really slow and should be really easy for Deontay Wilder to hit. I think that's all I have to say about this fight. I hope the man recovers and gets his belt back. I like Wilder. He's a cool guy. Alright, y'all. So we finished our bluegrass codfish sandwich. What do you think, man? You know, always leave me a comment down below. Let me know what y'all think about these recipes. Any alterations you would have made. Anything else you would have added. Anything you want to see me cook, man. And go on, stick your finger in there. Go on, get your little taste. Yeah, it's good. Yeah. Alright, y'all. So we about to get out of here, man. So, you know, catch me next time on Cooking and Conversation. Manny Pacquiao Boxing Report.
Alright, y'all. So we finished our bluegrass fish sandwich. Go on and get in there. What you think about that? Yeah, buddy. Alright, that's enough. That's enough. This is mine. So, you know, I'm just sitting here watching this Louisville game. And rewatching the Louisville game. We won earlier. Beat Virginia Tech. You know, it was a nice victory. Been on the downslide for the past couple of weeks. You know, it's been kind of hard to watch, but they made a good showing for senior day. So I'm going to rewatch this game, enjoy my little fish sandwich. And I appreciate you guys coming through, man. If, like I said, once again, if you like the content, hit that thumbs up for me. Leave me a comment down below. Let me know to keep making this style of content. And let me know what y'all think about Manny Pacquiao's next possible fight, and what Deontay Wilder should do to try to regain his titles and rebuild his career. And I think that's it for now. Y'all want to see me take a bite? I don't never eat on camera. I hate eating on camera. This looks good. Oh boy. It's pretty awesome. Alright, this is Cardinal Red, Cooking and Conversation, and we out of here.